Okay, today we're going to be stating the slope and the y-intercept of the graph of y equals negative 5/7 x plus 4. And we can use slope-intercept form to help us do that. So you should be copying this down in your notebook, slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope. So we can say that m equals negative 5/7 because you can see that is in the place of m, and b is our y-intercept. So you can see that 4 is in the place where b would be in the equation. So we can use slope-intercept form to help us find the slope and the y-intercept. So our y-intercept point would be 0, 4. Okay, so here we have another example. State the slope and the y-intercept of the graph. We will write our slope-intercept form so that we can remember that it's y equals mx plus b. M is our slope. So whatever is in place of m would tell us what the slope is. B is our y-intercept. So whatever is in place of B would tell us what our y-intercept is. That would be the place on the line on the graph where the line would cross through the y-axis. So we do not have this formula written in slope-intercept form. The formula is written in negative 3x plus y equals negative 7. And what we want to do is get that y alone. We want it in y equals mx plus b format. So what we need to do is move that negative 3x. We want y alone on the left side. So instead of minus 3x, we're going to simply add 3x to both sides. And the negative 3x plus 3x will cancel each other out. We'll be left with y equals negative 7 plus 3x. And we can use the commutative property to change the order so that we have it in slope-intercept form. So we can say y equals 3x plus negative 7. Now we have that coefficient next to the x, and we have our y-intercept. So we can state that our slope is 3. M stands for slope. And our y-intercept would be negative 7. B is our y-intercept. So you always need to remember that M is your slope, B is your y-intercept. This time we are going to graph y equals 5/8 x plus 2. We're going to do that using the slope and the y-intercept. So we know our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and we can clearly see that 5/8 is our slope. They line up perfectly, and 2 is our y-intercept. So using that information, we will be able to graph a line. We know that our y-intercept is going to be 0, 2, because that is the point on the line that crosses through the y-axis. So here we have 0, we're not going to go left or right, up 2. Now our slope is 5/8, so all we need to do is count up 5 and then over 8. That is our rise and our run, and that gives us our slope and our second point. And what we can do is now simply draw a line between our y-intercept point and the point that we found where our slope is, which would be 8, 7. and we've been able to graph the line with the information that we were given. Okay, so your homework is a wiser me. You are going to be writing equations in slope-intercept form. I'm going to go over that with you. So important ideas to remember: finding the slope of a line, finding the y-intercept of a line, and equations in slope-intercept form. We're going to practice. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to find the slope and the y-intercept of the following lines. So here we can see we have a line. We've got 2 points. To find the slope, we need to count the rise, 1, 2, 3, and the run, 1, 2, 3. So our rise is 3, our run is 3. How much do we go up and how much do we go over to get from one point to another? So here, my slope would be 3 over 3, which actually is 1. So I would put 1 in there. My y-intercept is this point right here where the line crosses through the y-axis. So that would be actually starting at the origin, 0, and I'm going to go up 3. So my y-intercept would be written like this: parentheses, 0, comma, 3, parentheses. I'm going to do the same thing here for number 2. What is the slope? What is the y-intercept? Well, I'm going to find a point here, and I'm going to count down 1 and over 1, 2, 3 till I get to another point clearly on the line here. I need to find my points where they fall right perfectly on those grid lines. So this would be negative 1/3. I would be falling 1 and running 3. My y-intercept happens to be right here, so that would be at parentheses 0, comma 1. You're going to do the same thing here. What is my slope? Let me count the points. 1, 2, up 2, over 2. I'm going to get a slope of 1. And my y-intercept right here, 0, comma 1. I'm landing right on the 1 here. Right here, you're going to write equations for each of the following lines. Identify the slope and y-intercept, then write the equation. So for graph 1, I can find my slope. I can pick a point, and I'm going up 1, over 1. So my slope is 1 for graph 1. My y-intercept is at 0, 2. My y-intercept would be 0, 2. And if I were going to write this in slope-intercept form, I would write y equals 1x, or just x, plus 2. We're only looking for the y value for our y-intercept. Here you have to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So here's my slope, negative 2. Whatever the coefficient is next to x, that's m, or slope. And this is my y-intercept, 9. So my slope is negative 2. My y-intercept is 9. Or it would be at the points 0, 9. For the equation y equals negative 2x plus 9, the slope of the line would be negative 2 right here, and the y-intercept would be 9. So you'll complete that. When you're finished, you will hand in your work, and that is all we have for today.